I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents. It's needed now more than ever. How a local food pantry is feeding today's hungry.
This place has been a blessing for me.
Plus, a man who started out delivering pizza and is now delivering education. I sit down with leading Catholic philanthropist Thomas Monaghan.
I read a book by C.S. Lewis called Mere Christianity, and it had a chapter on pride. Short chapter, but it hit me right between the eyes.
And how one Queen's student makes a difference in Haiti.
$600 were meant for my birthday. I was going to have a party with my friends, but I thought the people in Haiti needed this more.
Good evening, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of Currents. Tonight, we're going to do what a lot of folks have been doing today, counting our blessings. And we start with an organization that's been a blessing to the city by feeding the hungry for almost 30 years. It's
St. John's Bread and Life, a food pantry in Bedford-Stuyvesant. As we discovered earlier this year, since the pantry was founded, ways to help the hungry have certainly changed, and so has this Brooklyn institution.
St. John's Bread and Life is 28 years old, originally founded in St. John the Baptist Parish. Our digital food pantry started when we moved to this new facility in June 2008.
So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and order some veggies, all right? So if you touch, this is touch screen, very simple.
People receive a swipe card with a certain amount of points on it for their family. Larger families, more points, smaller families, less points. They swipe it and then choose certain items that are worth a certain amount of points. And one of the things we've done is stilted the points that more nutritious food, if you will, is cheaper, less nutritious is more expensive.
You know, the privileges of this system is that oftentimes people go into food pantries and they get a pre-packed bag. There might be stuff in there that they don't like. The kids might not eat. They might be allergic to, so we're giving them an option to go ahead and order what it is that they want.
Progress is progress, you know. All you do is press a button and get what you want. I'm a diabetic. I can't eat everything, you know. And you got to choose what you eat, because you can get sick easy.
In Bed-Stuy, we have high number of people with diabetes and hypertension. We don't only want to just provide the food, but nutritious foods as well.
We've seen an 85% increase in our food pantry. And that seems to be a direct result of really the recession. Last year we saw over 14,000 families, serving over about 190,000 meals to them. We offer food stamp application, our medical services, our legal services, our immigration services, and the like. Our mission and our reason for being here is twofold. One is to bring emergency food to folks who need it. The second is to bring the services necessary either for them to reduce their need for our emergency food and or to prevent things from getting worse.
This place has been a blessing for me, truly been a blessing for me. I live in a 3-quarter house because I was burned out in 2006.
I'm looking for housing too, and they help you upstairs. It's a great place. A lot of stuff you get here.
We are called, in the words of St. Vincent de Paul, to encounter the face of Christ in the poor. If I don't encounter Christ in this life, then I will have no idea who he is in the next. So that's the process that goes on daily here.
I always tell my staff that my clients ought to be treated with respect and dignity. I don't care what walks of life they come from. Doesn't matter to me. You will treat them with respect.
They treat you like you have a soul, and that your soul is worthwhile.
And you can check out some other stories on St. John's Bread and Life over on our website, currentsny.net.
Well, stay tuned, though. We have much more of this special edition of Currents straight ahead. When we return, he made his name selling pizza, but this multimillionaire is now famous for his generous spirit.
Indeed. But first, throughout the show, we're going to hear from some young people at St. Sebastian School in Woodside, Queens. We caught up with them at their annual food drive for the Little Sisters of the Poor and asked them for their thoughts on what this holiday is all about.
In the November 1621, the Pilgrims came over to the United States for freedom of religion. They had a hard time.
They harvested for one tough year, and the Indians helped them.
Things started to look better, and then they just had a big feast with the natives.
And they all celebrated together and they sat down to eat. And this great Squanto chief attended. They brought William Bradford, the governor, attended. For 3 days, they just got everything they harvested. They ate it with the Indians, and all the kids from the town of Jamestown attended.
They call it the first Thanksgiving because the Pilgrims want to give thanks to the Indians for all their help.
They're very thankful that they actually have something to eat and people are not dying every day.
Welcome back to this special edition of Currents. Tonight, we wanted to take another look at some people we profiled who are giving a lot and giving us a reason to give thanks.
And on a day when many have gathered for the traditional turkey dinner, the man you're about to meet is best known for pizza. He is Thomas Monaghan. He's the founder of Domino's Pizza. He also owned the Detroit Tigers baseball team, and today it's estimated that Monaghan is worth almost $500 million, all of which he has pledged to give away.
Indeed, he is dedicating much of his time and his money to Catholic education, founding Ave Maria University, one of the most respected Catholic schools near Naples, Florida. Thomas Monaghan was in New York recently, and I had the opportunity to talk with him about both his life and his work. Tom, it is so great to welcome you to our Current Studios. Thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Well, we talked a little while ago, and now we have a chance to meet in person and have a more in-depth conversation, which is great. And one of the things that I'm fascinated by is your background. You're known, obviously, for starting Domino's Pizza, and you made a lot of money that way. And then you chose to pledge to give it away as well, all this money that you've made. First of all, talk to me a little bit about what it was like to run a business and how being Catholic may have influenced that. Does Catholic teaching have a place in business?
Well, I think it does. I've been asked many times, how can you square being Catholic, being a good Catholic, and being a successful businessman? And that always surprised me because I thought that being a good Catholic helped being a successful in business. And I've never seen a conflict. Certainly not in the long run. Maybe once in a while a short-term a sacrifice, but not in the long run.
How did you, maybe be specific, any particular things that you think from the Catholic teaching were helpful in business, moral codes of conduct or ways of doing business practices that were, more beneficial?
Well, one thing would be television advertising. We had $100 and some million worth of television advertising a year, and we would not put our advertising on a show that was anti-family, anti-religion, or anything like that. And so we're pretty limited to what shows we could be. We had a lot of sports.
Right. Yeah. Well, you were involved in sports, obviously. You owned a team, you owned jets, you had the homes, the cars, everything that money can buy, really. And then you elected to get rid of it. What was the reasoning behind that? What within you made you no longer want to have those accoutrements?
Well, the first question I asked myself is, why did I get so obsessed with all those things? Because I just was collecting every kind of toy you could have, and it's almost like it's fun pursuing it, and when you get it, you forget about it. And pretty soon you have so many things that you can't keep track of them, and let alone enjoy them or use them. A lot of times I did things that I justified it was for the business, like when I had a large car collection. I was in the delivery business, so I thought there was a connection there that I could exploit. But I read a book by C.S. Lewis called Mere Christianity, and it had a chapter on pride, short chapter, but it hit me right between the eyes. And I thought he was writing it to me because why was I trying to be so successful, being so rich, having so many things? And it was basically to impress people, to have more than other people. And I don't like a show-off. And it turned out I was probably the biggest one of all. And I couldn't sleep that night. And I thought about my youth when I was a kid in the orphanage. Loved sports. I went out of the way to make a spectacular play, risking my body. Why did I do that? To get a compliment. And then later on, and when I got married and started building the business, I lived in little trailers. I drove old cars, ragged clothes. I did that so I could have more later. Have less now, to give me more later. Well, more what? More than other people. And I didn't like that. So I took what I call a millionaire's vow of poverty, and I basically got rid of all the ostentatious luxuries. I didn't give up conveniences because I do have a wife.
Right.
But I gave up
yes, we women are demanding.
Yeah, well, she had a Cadillac and a Jaguar, and I got rid of my Bentleys and Rolls and everything. And I said, honey, you think you ought to get rid of that and maybe get a Buick or a Chevy?
Sure.
She said, you took the vow, I didn't.
Right. I agreed to marry you, not take the vow of poverty. Right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting because, you touched on a couple things. You took the vow of poverty, so that means you're giving back. And you pledged to give back as part of this. Well, you renewed your pledge, I should say, to give your money away. And a lot of it, obviously, is in your university, Ave Maria, down in Florida. Talk to us about what's going on there.
Well, Ave Maria University is an attempt to be a beacon for what Catholic education should be. I've been on the board of 5 Catholic colleges and universities, and some better than others, and I'm shocked to discover that Catholic colleges and universities today are the worst place you want to send your kids to if you want them to keep their faith. You're better off sending them to a non-Catholic school. And there's a lot of research that shows that. There's something recently, there was a study of Catholic co-eds, and the ones that went to Catholic schools were 4 times as likely to hook up, 3.97 times as likely to hook up in casual sex than if they went to a non-Catholic school.
Interesting.
I mean, that's shocking, but that's what's...
So you wanted to influence not only the teachers and have a new generation of teachers available, but you also wanted to influence the student body and have a place for them to go where they felt perhaps it could be more in line with their Catholic faith.
Yeah, basically they can relax spiritually at Ave Maria. You know, someone said, gee, it's not uncool to be religious here. Our number 1 club on campus is the Pro-Life Club. The number 2 club is the Chastity Club, and that was started by the students.
Recently I was reading something by the Sisters of Mercy. I guess they have a couple of Catholic universities where they have these unwed mother programs. Is that something that you would ever even consider doing at Ave Maria, or is that something that you think is probably best left to other schools?
That's something that might be appealing to us.
Okay, yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's just something that a few places
The first
are doing.
thing is just to make sure that our theology that we teach is in line with the teachings of the Catholic Church. Because that's unfortunately pretty rare in Catholic schools.
Right. And what is your daily practice of Catholicism? Because a lot of people will look at someone like you and they will, really sort of see a mentor and they want to look up to you and wonder what it is that you do on a daily basis.
Well, I go to Mass every day. I say at least 5 rosaries. It's not a big sacrifice because I do it when I'm working out on the Stairmaster. And I read a short version of the Divine Office, the morning and evening prayers. I try to take care of myself physically, which I think is a spiritual thing. I've been near my ideal weight for the last 20-some years.
It's great.
And I try to be humble. And I work at that all the time. And I go to confession. I try to go every week. I try to constantly stay in the state of sanctifying grace. That's my number 1 goal in my entire adult life, is to stay in the state of sanctifying grace and never, ever commit a mortal sin. And I pray every day that I don't succumb to that. To me, that's one of the most important things in my life, and that's purely selfish. I don't want to go to hell.
Well, yeah, heaven sounds a lot better, doesn't it?
And it's forever.
It is indeed. Tom, that is unfortunately all we have time for today. Obviously, I knew the time was going to fly by, but it's fascinating to talk to you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on Currents.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Thomas Monaghan there. Stay tuned. There's much more of this Thanksgiving edition of Currents just ahead. When we return, a young lady who's also giving back to help Haiti.
Right, but we hear from more students now at St. Sebastian's in Woodside as they tell us what, for them, is the best part of Thanksgiving.
What I really like is that where all of my family are sitting at a table together just enjoying a meal.
I like this because we come together as a school of 7th grade. We help other people and it makes us feel good. and we feel good inside. So I think this is the best part of Thanksgiving.
I like eating, helping out, like right now, eating the turkey.
The feast and the prayer.
Having dinner with my family, yeah, that's the part that I like the best.
Mostly giving thanks and helping other people, because it usually like gives me something inside my feelings.
My mom and my dad combined both make the greatest turkey and turkey stuff.
Yeah, the turkey.
Welcome back to this special Thanksgiving edition of Currents, where we're spotlighting tonight some remarkable people that we've met throughout this past year. And one of the most remarkable was a little girl with a big heart.
A very big heart. We first met Ashley Tarenti, a 6th grader at Holy Family School in Flushing, in January, just a couple of weeks after the devastating earthquake in Haiti, a tragedy that eventually claimed the lives of nearly 250,000 people.
Last winter, Ashley saw an opportunity to help the people of Haiti and decided to use a planned birthday party to do just that. An occasion for gift giving became itself a gift. Here again is Ashley Tarenti, our eyewitness.
I want to do my part. Some people say, oh, they'll make it. And I'm like, no, they won't. Well, the $600 were meant for my birthday. I was going to have a party with my friends, but I thought the people in Haiti needed this more than I did. When I saw everybody there, them crying, I remembered when my grandmother died. I didn't know her, I never really met her, but even though I didn't know her, I still felt bad. I believe I was 8 or 9, and I didn't like seeing my mom hurt either. So when the kids of Haiti and all the mothers, the fathers, and I heard a lot how the pastors died there, I felt really bad. Even though I didn't know them, like my grandmother, I still felt for them. In kindergarten, I did the same thing. I sent $5,000, and for the tsunami. A lot of people thought, no, we could just leave it. I didn't feel that way. I thought they needed somebody. We have a lot compared to other people, and we should sometimes put them first. My entire life, I go to church every Sunday, I work in the choir, I'm also an altar server. In the beginning, I wanted to become a sister or a nun, but I decided not to. Ever since I was in 4th grade, I wanted to become a writer. I really want to write mystery books and fiction books because I love them a lot. A lot of writers have inspired me, and I also like to write poems. Robert Frost was one of the first poets that I read, and I just really liked it. He opened my eyes saying that there's stuff everywhere that he could write about. I definitely see Christ as a role model. I picture him as being a person who loves everybody. Him being forgiving and just wanting the best for everybody. And that's exactly how I feel. I would forgive any of my friends, my family, and I love them all. I would always give a second chance. I know there's always a second chance. I know he'd put others first, and I feel the same way. I know that others are more in need than I am, and I think he would agree with me that I'm doing the right thing. I would tell the people of Haiti that it really hurt me just to see them like that, to see them so lost, to feel like there's no hope. And I want to tell them that there is hope, that they're not alone, that there are people here that want to help them. Things are going to get better for them. I know it is.
We've showed that piece before, and every time I see it, I get tears in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, she is just wise beyond her years, and you know, has, as we said, you know, she may be a little girl, but she's got an enormous heart. It's just amazing because, I mean, you know, to a lot of adults, you know, a few $100s might not be a lot. To a lot of people, especially in the economy today, yeah, it is a lot of money. That was all of that money that she had for her birthday. She's like, these people need it more than I do.
Right, for sure. And her innocence and yet her wisdom, as you said, is so remarkable because she's able to just sort of see things for what they are. Hey, this is an extra thing for me, a birthday party that I can or cannot have. It doesn't really mean that much to me. But what this can do for people who really need something, that it doesn't matter whether or not I know them. I just feel, connected to them as, humankind, if you will.
Yeah, and they can get the essentials.
That's right.
That's right. Well, we have some more information on ways that you can help Haiti. It's over on our blog. Just head over to the website, currentsny.net. Click Riding the Wave.
When we come back, we'll discuss Thanksgiving, and we'll also go into the deep to get some thoughts from Bishop DiMarzio. But first, what are you most thankful for? That is our final question for students at St. Sebastian's in Woodside.
I'm thankful for just anything that is here that God created.
I'm most thankful for my family and that they're all healthy.
For my teachers, they teach me stuff that I don't know and will help me in the future. Mainly having my family's health. Although the economy is going bad right now, but I'm thankful for the things I have at this moment.
I'm most thankful for my family this year. Every year it's my family or my friends.
Having a home, because a lot of people don't, and I just feel thankful for a lot of things.
I'm giving food to the Little Sisters of the Poor, and I'm really thankful for that.
So you just have to realize that a lot of people don't have what we have. So that's why we're giving back to the elderly.
Well, no Thanksgiving show would be complete without a word from someone all of us here at NET are thankful for, the man who makes what we do possible, Brooklyn's own Bishop DiMarzio.
Last week, I went into the deep with him to discuss the holiday, and tonight we bring you again that conversation. He talked about why this day has special meaning to him and carries special memories. Bishop DiMarzio, I was just saying off camera that, my aunt always cooks a great turkey for Thanksgiving. She and my uncle, I always look forward to that, going home to the Boston area to enjoy that. Talk to us a little bit about why you think Thanksgiving in general is really important to Americans and especially to Catholics.
Well, truly it is a national day of Thanksgiving where everyone, according to their own religious tradition, gives thanks to God for the blessings. Obviously the historical event is clouded a little bit of history, but it comes back to the Pilgrims. It was Thanksgiving for the first successful harvest. The whole image of this was shared with the Indians is a wonderful one. We're not sure people are questioning that, but even if it wasn't that way, it's the way it should have been. And I think it's today part of our national culture. There's a lot of things that have encroached on it, like football games and other things, but it's all part of our culture. But the key thing is that there is a family meal. People try to get together as best they can to share a family meal of Thanksgiving.
Right, really an opportunity to show gratitude and to share that. And a lot of folks are having a hard time. They might have lost a loved one, they might have lost a job, still be unemployed for a period of time. What do you say to folks like that who are still kind of struggling?
Well, we give thanks for life, and life has many turns we don't expect sometimes. So the people that are struggling, we pray for them, remember them on this day especially, because the holidays are probably the hardest time for most people to get through when everything isn't the way it should be. So we remember them on this day, I think, importantly.
Well, do you have any special plans? Do you have a ritual that you have on Thanksgiving?
Well, this year's a little different because I'm going to baptize my 6th great, this is a niece this time. Oh. So I have 6 great nieces and nephews, and this is time for baptism. Just 2 months old. And then we'll share our family meal together. We all get assigned something to do. I'm supposed to make the gravy for the macaroni, or either going to be ravioli or lasagna. I haven't decided what I can manage. And other people bring the turkey and the vegetables. So everybody gets something to bring, and then we have a family feast and more food left over than we eat, I think. But that's the ritual.
Yeah, in our family, we always have the ritual of the post-eating walk. We have to walk around the neighborhood so we can get a little bit of exercise after that. And Bishop, what will you be thanking God for this year, personally?
Well, I have a lot to be thankful for since I went for successful heart surgery last year. So I'm thankful for that, and we'll continue to give thanks and for so many good things that happen in this diocese. So I think we're very fortunate.
We certainly are. We have terrific resources and folks working with us. So thank you so much, Bishop, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And we are thankful for the bishop and for him joining us here. And as we were talking about, I think I don't know, last week sometime. I grew up in the South, as you know, and all this talk of food, it always makes me so hungry around Thanksgiving especially. But in the South, the cuisine is a little bit different on Thanksgiving, and we don't do stuffing in the South, we would do dressing. And so growing up, that was always the thing that I would look forward to as a kid, was my mom's dressing. She made the best dressing. So turkey dressing, cranberry sauce, and I am set.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. You get cornmeal you use instead of just regular sort of breadcrumbs or whatever.
Right,
that,
exactly,
right?
more like cornbread.
Very
Yeah,
southern.
absolutely.
Yeah, very southern thing.
Very
I know
much so.
Some of my favorite Thanksgiving recipes, I should say, memories involve
recipes.
Yes, they do.
Mine too.
Recipes.
Imagine that.
It's just the way that they bake the turkey and everything. Fried turkey. That was really a great thing when I went down south. That my friend cooked for me one year.
I was going to say, I'm sure that's
popular
around Pensacola there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, up in the Northeast, I don't know so much about that. I don't think they like to fry the turkey so much up here.
It's, there's no place like the South. I'm telling you, deep fry a turkey. We'll deep fry anything just about in the South. Well, that is it for this edition of Currents. Be sure to check us out online. We're over at currentsny.net. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. For all of us here at Currents, I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night and a very happy Thanksgiving to you.
Deep fry.